I just received this box from My Fabric Addiction. Hi friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Kate. I received a box from My Fabric Addiction in the mail. I was so stoked that they want me to help out with sewing this quilt that is going to be on their website. I'm going to unbox it and share with you just so we can see what this sent me. This is the box right here. Yes, I am covering my address that is in front of the box. My Fabric Addiction is located in Idaho. They are up north. What I'm gonna do now is open this and let you guys see what I am about to sew. I have an idea what's gonna be in here, but I'm not sure about everything that will be in the box. So let's see. Whoa, okay, all right. This is kind of cute. This is really cute, actually. This is what is in the box. So this is the quilt that I'm going to be sewing. From what you and I can see right now, this is a picture of the quilt in front of the box. When you receive your box, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to have a picture of the actual quilt. This is going to be pre-cut. The entire pieces that you see on here will be cut out for you. What we're going to do when we open this box is just literally start sewing. No cutting. And can you imagine if you have to cut this little teeny tiny pieces like this right here, and then this little ones right here? I think you will have a nosebleed, and I am not trying to have a nosebleed. So I am thankful that this is pre-cut. And just so you know, since it is pre-cut, it is not going to be starched. Part of what I'm going to do when I'm sewing this with you is show you the techniques that you're going to use when sewing fabric that are not starched. This is their fabric marker, like when you cut your pieces or when you lay your pieces out. This is what you will use to kind of label your quilt. Let me open it and show you what the qualities are. I'm gonna be completely honest, these are not going to wither on you. They are like plastic, good quality. The numbers are a little bit extended than other brands. So this one goes from 1 to 20 and then A to Z. I'm going to measure it so you know and you have an idea how big this is. It's exactly 1 inch. It is a nice size. You can use this fabric clip right here in conjunction to clip this onto your pieces that you cut out for your quilt. So that's an idea. Let me just take it further. The letters are on both sides. You can take your letter, glue it to the top of this clip right here, and then you can clip down your fabric like that. So this would be permanent on there, and then you have your clips. So that's an idea for you. I can tell you right now, these qualities are up there. They're really good quality. This will arrive to you looking just like this. We have one more thing in our box. I think I requested for this. I like this. This is a t-shirt right here that literally said My Fabric Addiction on here. You can get it in different styles. I think this is just the perfect shirt for me. It's black and it will match everything. And I wear a lot of black anyway. So this is great. Thank you so much, My Fabric Addiction, for sending me all these goodies. With that said, this is what we're going to be working on. What I'm going to do now is go through the box and show you what your fabric will look like pre-cut when you get it in the mail. This is what your box is going to look like. Really pretty, just like that. The name of this quilt is Frosted Flower with Art Gallery fabric, finished at 63 by 63. You are getting quality quilting fabric. You know how much I love Art Gallery fabric. Very silky, very, very good quality. Let's go ahead and open the box. Okay. This is going to be our pattern. Frosted Flower Quilt. This quilt pattern is designed by Abby Luchsinger. This is what we look like. And it has different sizes. It has mini, it has a table runner, a throw, a twin, and a bed size. We're going to be sewing the throw size, which is the 63 by 63. If you purchase this kit, if you want to make a mini for your wall hanging, you can make this one. You can make a table runner for your table just for the winter season. With that said, this is what your fabric is going to come looking like right here. All your item is protected in a clear bag. Also, within the clear bag, your pieces are an individual packet. So it's triple protected. Every single thing in here are labeled, letting you know what goes where. So I'm just going to lay everything out like that. All of your pieces are labeled. These are all of your pieces. It has a letter, the E, and it tells you how many are in there. There's no need to even like worry about messing up or anything. Everything comes labeled, ready to go. Now my box is empty. You're not cutting, and this is my pattern. I do still strongly encourage you to read your pattern no matter what, even though for this, we are not cutting anything out because it's already cut for us. And all you're doing is skipping right on to sewing your pieces. And now I'm skipping all the way to page 6. That is how much time this is going to save me by having the fabric already pre-cut. So what I'm going to do now is take all this out and then put it on my design board, label each one of them, and then I'm going to start sewing. That's all you're doing. You're taking it out of the box, you're sewing. I couldn't be happier with getting this already cut for me and ready to go. Let me just put it on my design board and I will come back and I will show you what it looks like, all nice, ready to go. I have separated all of the pieces out and I have labeled them segment A, segment B right here, segment C, D, and E over here. Before we move on to sewing this block, this is what your block is going to look like, and it has it with line going inside which color placement go where. What we're going to do now is start sewing this block, and I'm going to go step by step on how you're going to construct your block that will make sense to you, because I'm sewing it very beginner friendly and I'm sewing it in a way in which makes sense to me and hopefully will make sense to you as well. So let's go into the sewing machine and start sewing. I have laid out all my pieces here. I'm going to help you make sense of what I have laid out here. I have here, this from here to here is my segment A. From right here to right here is B. And this here makes up my third segment. All the little pieces that we have to sew are right here. I'm going to show you step by step on how you are going to sew this. We're not going to need these guys into the very end. They are very straightforward in cutting out the pattern for you. If this helps you, you can kind of take a screenshot of what this looked like here. So that way when you're laying out your block, your segment for each block, you will have something to refer to. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and stitch one block so you can see what it will look like. You need 4 segments like this to make one block. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and sew a whole segment, and then we will sew a block together. And then I will show you what the quilt actually look like once it's done. Let's do that. The first thing we are going to do is make our 4 patch. I'm going to press this to the dark and then I'm going to put it together. Now remember, none of these fabrics are starched. My method of ironing will also be a little different as well. I'm not going to iron after every step. I'm just going to lightly iron or press, and then when I'm done with the entire quilt, I will iron or press. This part is done. The most important part when sewing this is making sure that you have the right fabric facing the right direction. So with this 4 patch, our lighter fabric will be going to the bottom left. Our accent fabric will be going to the right. This is done. What we are going to do now is bring this square and sew it on to the right side, just like this. So I'm just going to finger press just like this. I'm still not going to use my iron just yet. I'm going to bring this rectangle and I'm going to sew and flip. If you are a beginner, the right thing to do is make a line right here using your favorite erasable pen, and then you're going to sew directly on that line. I'm not doing that. I have this tape right here that lets me sew straight. And we are going to sew just like that. What I'm going to do now is just cut away 1/4 inch per my eyeballs, and then I'm going to finger press. This is done. What we are going to do now is bring this step that we just completed, we're going to sew on to this, and then we will be done with our segment A. So now that this is done, I'm going to press away from where I have a lot of seam. So it's going to look like that. And I'm going to bring my iron and I'm just going to lightly press. This is how you sew when your fabric is not starched. It is softer on hand to touch. Once you've completed this step right here, you're going to have a stack that looks just like this. What I'm going to do now is set it aside. The next step is to complete our segment B. Over here is my segment B. And what I'm going to do is sew it and make it make sense for you. So when you are sewing your block at home, you can refer to this and then you can kind of say, oh yeah, I got it. With that said, the first thing I'm going to do is sew this middle piece right here. because this is where it looks a little cumbersome to sew because you have a lot of tiny little pieces. I'm gonna move my labels aside. These labels right here are from my fabric addiction, and that's what I'm using today to label my quilt pieces, or my block pieces rather. Let's go on ahead and sew this piece right here. That's what I'm gonna do first. I'm gonna press to the dark, and I'm gonna take another piece. I'm gonna sew the second set, just like I just sewed the first set. And then we're gonna assemble the middle part. I think it's better to just sew the little pieces first and then attach a bigger piece of fabric as you go on. So we are pressing to the dark. So before you sew your pieces together, this is what you're going to have. What I'm gonna do now is put it like this, and I'm just going to sew it. And I'm gonna match it up, and I'm going to sew. And I'm gonna press to where I don't have seam. I'm training my seam to go to where I don't have bulk. So once you're done with that, this is what you're gonna have right here. I'm just gonna go ahead and lightly press like that. This is what we are going to have. What I want you to do next is to sew this piece here, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna go ahead and sew this little piece that goes on the end first. Okay, and I went on ahead and chain piece, and that means I didn't break thread in between these two. What I'm gonna do now is press out like this with my fingers. The fabrics are not starched. I'm taking an extra care and having that in mind. I'm just pressing with my finger. Now you see what I'm talking about. It's easier for me to sew the end first, and always make sure before you move on, make sure that your accent fabric are facing down this way, and then make sure your pieces like this are the way they're supposed to be per the pattern. What I'm gonna do is sew this end first. I'm gonna make sure that my seams are going this way. All right, and I'm gonna press away from my seam so that way I don't have bulk. This part, I'm gonna flip it like this, and I'm going to sew. I'm going to press away, and then I'm going to put it back. And so this is what you're going to have. I'm just going to join this to this and then this to this. Segment B will be completed. Now it's making sense, right? I'm going to bring this and sew these part right here. Now that this is completed, what I'm going to do is press. I'm not going to press whooshing my iron. I'm just going to go up and down on my seam like this. You see that? Then I'm gonna go lightly up and down. Once you've done this for segment B, you're going to have a stack that looks something like this. This is our segment B. We're going to set it aside because we are done with this. We're making the lap size. We're going to make 9 blocks, and each block has 4 segments of this right here. Our third segment is going to be our snowflake. I will do it step by step so you can see. The first thing we're going to do for our segment C is our 4 patch. We're going to make our 4 patch. You're going to have your light catty corner from each other, and then you're going to sew. I'm going to bring it here, make sure that my seams match, and I'm going to sew. Small piece. This is the first part we're going to sew for our third segment. The next thing we're going to do is bring our background and our accent piece over here, and then I'm going to bring another background. Let me sew this first. All right, and then I'm going to bring another background. I'm going to sew it to this 4 patch. Just going to match it up and sew. I'm just going to press away from where I have seam, bring it back here. So now you see why I sewed this first. So that way I can just come over here and I can just piece like this. It matches, go ahead and sew. Now that we've done almost 5 steps, I'm gonna press it just like that so it's flatter. Our next step is to bring pieces right here. I'm gonna put it like this, and I'm gonna put this like this. You see how I'm transferring it to this little mat right here? That way I don't get confused. So I'm kind of calling this a broken log cabin. That's kind of what you're sewing. So what I'm gonna do is sew this white piece onto this 4 patch that we've been doing. It's literally like sewing a log cabin, guys. And then I'm gonna take this piece, sew this on, and I'm gonna press away from my lights. And see how this is right here? Just like that. And then I'm gonna sew this onto this. And that's what we're doing. See my corners right here? One is going this way and the other one is going that way. Then I'm going to take our next piece, which is going to be our background, another lighter accent. So make sure that you don't mix this color and this color. This has a little bit of a green tinge to it, and this is more of a blue haze. So you're going to take that, two accent pieces. I'm going to sew this two first, and I'm going to come back and sew this, and then we will put it together. We're not ready for this yet because we got to sew this. So now what I'm doing is sewing this to this, and then we'll come back and sew the bottom piece. What we're doing now is just taking this that we sewn previously, we're gonna sew it to this part. I am pressing away from the center. Now that we've sewn quite a bit on, I'm just going to bring my iron, I'm going to press. All right, very lightly pressing. It's a lot flatter. Our next step is to bring our other piece. When you look at this pattern and you look at the blocks, you're like, oh my goodness, this is so hard. I just sat here a couple evenings and just kind of knock it out a little bit at a time. It's such a fun sew. You will enjoy, especially in the winter months when it's kind of cold outside and you're making this kind of snowflakes and a cup of coffee or a cup of hot chocolate, whatever it is you drink, right? All right, so we're gonna put this like this. And I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna sew these three pieces. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier when I said, make sure you don't get this color and this color confused. See how this is kind of like a little bit more towards like a gray sky, and this is more like it has a green tinge to it, and this is white. You can't miss it, okay? And then you're gonna take this and sew it to this part. I'm gonna put this over like that. What I'm gonna do now is sew this onto this, and then we're gonna come back and sew this guy onto that guy. Press. What we're gonna do now is take this piece and sew it onto this. This is how you're gonna know if you have something sewn that shouldn't be sewn where you have it. This right here just kind of follow each other. You have all the dark and then you have the white. That's the way it's supposed to look. Now, with that said, let's go on ahead and sew our final piece. I'm just going to press a little flat, give it a little heat, come back over here. This is what my backside looks like. Not the prettiest. Now that you have segment C completed, you're going to have a stack that looks something like this. This is our segment C. What we're gonna do next is make our segment D. We need to make 4 per block. I have all 4 of them right, okay? It's your longest piece of background. I went on ahead and chain piece that. That way it'll be faster. I'm not going to iron at all. I'm just going to just kind of flatten it with my finger. This is my segment D. With that said, everything is completed and done. What we are going to do is bring back all the section that we've sewn. We are going to assemble our block. So I have all my pieces here. This is A, B, C, D, and E. We just pieced the segment for the block. Now we're going to assemble the block. So you're going to need 4 of each one of these to make a block. For this pattern, we are going to make a throw, and that's 63 by 63. We need 9 blocks to do that. So what we're doing now is assembling. I'm just going to take our C segment. The way you lay this out is very important. This color right here has to be going away from you for the top. The 2 bottom pieces are going to be going like this. This is how you're going to lay them out. If you lay them the wrong way, you're going to get a look, but it's not going to be the look that you're necessarily going for. So I'm just saying that because I made that mistake already. So I wanted to make sure you don't do the same thing that I did. We're going to put this is our segment D. So we're going to put C and D. We're going to put them like this. We're going to take our E square, and it's going to look something like that. Now we're going to sew this first. What I'm going to do is piece this guy right here, and I'm going to press inward. I'm going to take this piece, and I'm going to sew it onto the lighter accent color, just like this. So you're going to have the middle part that looks something like this. Now that this part is sewn together, notice I'm not pressing right now. I'm going to sew this together. I'm not going to pin. I'm just going to hold on to it and just sew. And then I'm going to bring this and I'm going to sew. So I'm just going to press inward. I'm just going to press this up and down like that. because I know it's not going to stretch because I've already sewn all of it together. So I feel safe pressing it. The next step is to sew this onto this, making sure that you're paying attention to this part right here that's going away, kind of like a starburst. And then bring this piece right here, lay it on top like this. Go ahead and pin, do what's comfortable for you. And I'm going to press. Now that this is done, this is what it's going to look like. We have 3 pieces. We have this piece, we have this piece, and we have this piece. What we're going to do now is sew this to this and then bring this over like this. Now for this part right here, I'm going to pin. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin in the middle, and I'm going to come back out here. Then I'll come over to the end over here and I'll pin, making sure that these right here matches. I haven't pinned this whole time. I pin when necessary. Like right now is necessary. This is what we're looking like. What I'm going to do now is bring our 3rd piece and I'm going to sew. Okay, so I went on ahead and pin at the junction where I felt was needed. So now I'm just going to sew. Now this is what we're looking like. What I'm going to do is train my seam towards the center, and then I'm going to, that is done. Now that our block center is completed and sewn, we're going to sew our side segments. We have 4 of our segments. We only need to sew onto 2 of them, and then the other 2 right here are going to be set aside. We're going to bring our segment A that we made earlier. We're going to put them just like this, going outward, and then we're going to bring this going that way. Okay, so I have 2 of them, and then I have 2 of these, like that. Let's sew this first, and then we will go on and finish up what we have left. Press up and down. All right. Okay, so both pieces are sewn. We have 2 that have the side pieces sewn on, and we have 2 that does not have anything sewn on. Bring our block center and put this guide that are not sewn to anything on both sides. Make sure this right here are touching, and make sure this right here are touching before you go on. What I'm going to do is just put it together, and I'm going to sew. Come around one more time and put this like this and sew. I'm going to sew this part right here. Notice that they're touching, and I'm going to just sew. I'm just going to go ahead and press. I'm going to press away, and then I'm going to press over like this. All right, now that this is all nice and pressed, I'm just going to bring this long piece right here that we sewn earlier. I'm going to put it like this, and I'm going to bring this piece right here, and I'm going to put it like this. Now, this is essentially our entire block all done. So I have this bottom piece and I have this top piece. I'm going to put it together. So now I have everything pinned. I'm just going to sew. So here we have it. This is the entire quilt all nice and sewn, and this is how mine came out. This is the block that we completed together on video. This is what it came out to be. I think it came out stunning. This is what it looks like, all nice and done. So I just want to put it back there for your viewing pleasure. This quilt consists of 9 blocks. It's 63 by 63. And does not have sashing. You would just sew all of your 9 blocks together, and then you will have a whole quilt. These are the binding that came in the kit as well. This is what it looks like, all nice and done. If you would like to sew this quilt, I will put a link down below for myfabricaddiction.com for your convenience, so that way you can order one for yourself. When you order your quilt, it will also come in this beautiful package box. It will include your fabric, binding, and the pattern. Everything will be in this box, beautifully packaged to arrive at your door. And this, in my humble opinion, came out very, very pretty and stunning. And the best part is that I didn't have to cut it. All I have to do is get it and start sewing. Please visit myfabricaddiction.com to order yourself a kit. I hope this video have encouraged and inspired you to also go outside of your comfort zone and try something different. That's all I have for you today. Until next time, I would love to see you in my next video. Bye.